Hello, everyone, and welcome to the last video of 2021. It's been quite a year. I've been getting through it with your delightful comments. Some of them nice, some of them not so nice, some of them just weird. But hey, we're going to go over that today. It's the year-end roundup of comments, so let's see what you got. Of course, I got my beautiful wife and editor here with me, so we're gonna see what you got to say. So our first comment of 2021 goes to Soldier First Class, who said, the most thing I want to know is how to fly. So for one, I'd have to give you like a D for grammar. You got a little.
It could be a language barrier.
It could be a language barrier. It could be an age thing. But yeah, that's the first thing. Secondly, I mean, don't we all?
We all want to know how to fly.
Flying would be amazing. Flying would be great. But unfortunately, real life, not quite.
Can't do that.
Not quite so much. I like your little icon here. Mm-hmm. I think that's the dude. I don't know Final Fantasy VII lore that great, but I think that's the dude that Cloud thinks that he is, and some weird. I don't know. He like his memories or someone else's memories. I think is that dude's. I don't know. Anyways, thank you for your comment. Next comment. Gay, disliked. I love it. Straight to the point.
Maybe not straight, but it is to the point.
It is to the point, yeah. And
you had a thought and you went with it.
And you gave your view, you gave your thoughts, which gave my video more attention, and I appreciate that. So thank you for your comment. You might have disliked it. It's the most popular video on my channel, and hopefully we'll have one related to it coming out. I don't want to tell you next year because next year is going to be nuts for me. But hopefully sometime soon. I'm still working. There are things in the works.
Hold tight.
Hold tight. You know what I'm talking about if you've been following this channel. It's coming. Elijah Santos says, as an amateur trainee in Muay Thai, I knew I'd find a video for this. LOL. LOL! This is great. Jackie is the closest we get to Muay Thai in fighting games besides Sagat, which I think is a pretty good comment. Like,
yeah.
Sagat is what you think of, like what you used to think of when it came to Muay Thai. He's the Street Fighter character. I think he was the villain, like the main baddie in 2.
Okay.
I'm not up on my Street Fighter.
Correct us if we're wrong.
Yeah, but I think he's the big bad in one of the villains, and it was before Bison came along.
Okay.
So I think it was Street Fighter 2. He's the big bad, but yeah, he's got the wraps and he's got the knee, and it's what everyone thinks of when it comes to Muay Thai. And now maybe more people will think of Jackie Briggs because I think she's a great.
Fantastic fighting.
Oh, I think she's a great representation of the art. Yeah. I think it's really cool that they really leaned into it with her, and it kind of fleshed out her as a character and made her more fun to play than it was in Mortal Kombat X.
She sticks out for sure.
Oh yeah, a lot more than she did in X. I am sad that they took out Takeda. Takeda didn't make it back in 11.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that he comes back in a future iteration because he's just such a cool character. He's like the love child of Scorpion and Kenshi, and that's just awesome, right? Like, what more do you want? Anyways.
Great comment.
Yeah, good job. The Toxic Savior, Banana from Fortnite, says, thank you. One day you will see me fighting crime in 2077. That's
2027.
Oh, I always say that. 2027.
That's not too far off, buddy.
No, that's true. Yeah, you better start getting your latex suit ready. That is a nerdy joke though, because it's the Fight Like Spider-Man video, and I'm pretty sure he's referencing the Spider-Man. There's a string of comics called Spider-Man 2077, which is like the future version.
2027.
Yes, not Cyberpunk. The Spider-Man 2027.
It's an honest mistake. It's okay.
Yes, I'll just say 277 so much. It's just there was like.
Well, show us your video, dude. We want to see the action that you're getting into.
Oh yeah, but well, I mean, live leak it to us or something, I guess. Oh, I don't know. Fight Like a Ball. CS says, I like it. Thanks.
We like you.
We like making it. Positive reinforcement. I love it. Honestly, if you like our videos, you like what we do, the best thing you can do is just like share it.
Comment, like, share.
Yeah, just tell other people about it. Hey, this guy's doing a thing. Mm-hmm. This year, I got to monetize. So the channel is monetized now. So when you watch it, it does like generate revenue now, which is pretty sweet. but I haven't made my first paycheck yet. There's like a threshold you have to hit, and I haven't hit it yet.
It's not a thing, but it could be one day.
Yeah, it's not like supporting this family or anything. I haven't actually seen any money from it yet, but
it's a passion.
Hopefully, we can get it to a point where it is generating more revenue,
and then we can hire more people to help.
Hire more people, and it's going to help the studio itself because this whole YouTube channel was started as a support to or as an implement to supplement. There we go. To Best Academy of Martial Arts, which is my martial arts studio.
To promote and to supplement.
Yeah. Speaking of which, Fight Like Jin Sakai. One of my favorite videos, the location that we found to shoot this video in was just is perfect. Loved it so much. Nearly destroyed my drone twice. I made a haiku about that at the end of this video. And we actually did we weren't just spouting nonsense. We actually wrote a script, put it in Japanese. I had a friend who spoke not fluent Japanese, but he went to Japan. He did, what was he doing? He did his internship there for college. I don't remember what he was doing something in college, and he went to Japan. And he helped with the actual dialect and making sure people were saying things right. So we weren't just jibber jabbering. We actually did the lines in Japanese, because that's how I played the game. I played the game in Japanese with the Japanese on to make it seem more like those old samurai movies that I used to love growing up. Legendary Sid, where's your academy? I really want to learn all this. Well, there's a very slim chance you're close enough, but it's in North Mississippi. So if you live somewhere in the North Mississippi area, northeast-ish Mississippi.
Yeah, we have a website. I'm pretty sure it's in your descriptions, right?
Yeah. Go to Best Academy, BTST.
BESTS.
Yes, it's a possessive. BESTS Academy.com, and that's our website. And if you're in the area, we'd love to train you and train with you. But we just got a roof over our heads.
Yeah, we're no longer training outside.
Yeah,
which was lovely, but during the cold, it's a little tough.
Yeah, and people want to train their kids, put their kids in an after-school program. Sometimes it's helpful for them to show up and it be a building and not not just be under a bridge.
But when you're starting something like this, it's okay if you're outside for a little bit. People still support us being outdoors.
Yeah, but do what you got to do to survive. Yeah, and hopefully we'll keep climbing that ladder, and better things will be in store for us. Anyways, thank you for your interest. I actually have had people show up because they saw our Fight Like videos, and they actually showed up at the studio, and I was super surprised by that. I never expected those two things to ever correlate. So this is Fight Like Cabal. This is Nisasa 29X. Bro, chill. My girl's on YouTube, which I think is just hilarious. It's too late.
I see that on TikTok a lot.
Yeah, it's too late, my dude.
Too late.
She's gone. George19906 says, I went and did a bunch of real estate and learned how to fight, which I didn't get when I first got this message, because it was before I started playing Yakuza 0. And now that I'm playing 0, it makes sense because Kiryu goes into the real estate business.
Oh, see, I don't get it.
Yeah, there you go. So that's the joke, but that's not in Kiwami, which is what this is based off of. So when I got this, what? I don't get this at all.
Very nice, deep in the lore comment.
A lot of inside jokes.
Yeah.
This one's fun. It's from says, funny guy in glasses thinks he knows how to fight, which is nice. Thank you. I think I'm funny sometimes. Yeah. When I write my scripts, I try to add a little levity to it. I try not to take myself so seriously. I think one of the biggest detractors of martial arts culture is that I'm the best, I'm impenetrable, I'm the best in the world, I beat up anyone, I have no flaws, and that kind of thing can be really a deterrent for people who need martial arts or that community for someone
who wants to defend themselves. It's very
Well, I mean,
toxic to see that and not want to approach it.
no matter what you're taking martial arts for, whether it be for self-defense
Yeah.
or just to have a community of people that you can become a part of, or to lose weight, be healthier, there's so many reasons why you can get into martial arts. And I think it's good that like this McDojo movement has happened. I think it's put a check on a lot of people, and including myself. Like, I check myself and I'm going, hey, is this something I should be teaching? Should I take another look at this? And I've evaluated the way in which I teach my students. That being said, I think that it's a double-edged sword, because it can cause people people can be too critical, and then there's people who could benefit from martial arts training that never get into it because it's too toxic to even approach.
It's way too toxic for a lot of people.
You know what I'm saying? Seppo Harkonnen commented, "It's a good video, but I just keep watching and thinking that this guy left and right hooks Dunkin' Donuts more than practices martial arts." I love this. I think this is my favorite comment.
It's very creative.
I think it's my favorite comment out of all of them, right? Because super creative. He starts off by saying it's a good video, which I appreciate. Like, it's kind of like it's a compliment sandwich, right?
Yeah.
Or at least a compliment pizza. You got your crust and then your toppings or whatever.
Or a donut.
Anyways, I hate Dunkin' Donuts. It's like my least favorite chain of that kind. I've gotten coffee there twice, and both times I took like 2 sips of it and threw it away because I just couldn't drink it. Because
You ever had the donuts though?
I've never had the donuts,
They're
but
not great.
I try to avoid donuts because I can't.
Controversial opinion.
I can't eat anything. Like, I know you look at me and you're like, oh, look, this guy's got some weight on. Like, he gained weight. I gain weight so easy.
He gains it really easy and then has to work for a few months to lose it. But it's possible.
But I go through fluctuations.
Yeah.
Anyways, what I was saying is, Dunkin' Donuts, I can't stand. They make your coffee there. They don't let you make it. And it's just so sweet. It's like drinking syrup. Like,
and every time it's different, too. It's not even consistent.
I hate it. It's like somehow too bitter and too sweet at the same time.
Yeah.
This is trashing Dunkin' Donuts. If you're Dunkin' Donuts, get off this video. Dislike right now. Unsubscribe. I don't want to see you.
No.
Anyways, thank you for saying it's a good video. I appreciate that. You fat you don't fight like Kiryu. I love it. He's so mad. Why are you so mad? He's like, is he like your dad? And I'm like dishonoring him with my video. Like, I don't understand why this person's so upset. It's by The Masked Mutant. It's got a lovely profile picture there.
My question to him is, what do you mean? Like, give us some critique with that. Like, which part of it do you think is not like Kiryu? Like, I'm fine with this funny comment, but be more specific as to what is not right, because that's what we want.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is, like, typically, I can't even be mad when I see, like, I'm gonna be honest, when I first started this channel and I got, like, a mean comment, my stomach would sink, and I would just get, like, really, it's all I could think about for the rest of the day. It'd, like, ruin my day. I would get a little notification on my phone, and it'd be like, you suck, you should stop doing what you're doing. And it's like, that destroyed me for the rest of the day. And it's gotten to the point now to where it's like, I think it's kind of funny. It really doesn't bother me that much, or at all. Like, when I see this, I think to myself, like, what's the end goal here, right? Yeah. When someone doesn't critique, they just say something destructive. Yeah. It's literally just, you're just either trolling or you're trying to be funny or whatever. And hey, I laughed at this, so if you're trying to be funny, then you succeeded. Good job.
But if you're legitimately upset by the quality of the content, say what you don't like specifically, because if you want what they're making, like, he obviously clicked on the video titled Fight Like Kiryu, so he wants to see a fight like Kiryu,
right? Then
comment what you don't like so that it can be improved upon or at least pondered.
And yeah, I may or may not listen to you, but I would love to hear your
what specifically.
Yeah, I would love to hear your thoughts. It's not that I'll absolutely, like, positively do everything that you say, but I do love to hear and take into consideration the things that people say. And there's nothing to consider here. It's just like, okay, cool, whatever. This one's pretty good. Tirta2 says, how to fight like Kiryu, being a genetically gorilla human hybrid.
I mean,
Is he? I guess that's an insult.
I
Like,
can't tell if she's I can't tell if they're calling you a gorilla or if they're saying that Kiryu is just a character that you literally can't be human wise.
I don't know.
I can't tell what the.
Well, I think being a genetically, I think that means me. Like, because it's like how to fight like Kiryu, which is a separate thing, being this, which is, I'm guessing, me. Hey, gorillas are strong AF, boy. Like, gorillas, have you ever seen a gorilla? Like, you go to a zoo, most zoos you can't ever get close, like they're across that trough.
Yeah.
I've actually been like across the gate, like feet away from a gorilla.
Or with the big glass.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, like big glass, or in my case it was like bars.
Yeah.
But it was like, you can't fathom how big they are without being like in the presence of it like that. Cause it's like it was so big. It was a silverback gorilla, and it still just breaks my brain thinking about it. Like, this thing can roll me up and smoke me like a cigarette if it wanted to. Like, this, it was so huge. Yeah. Anyways, so yeah. Thank you for your comment. R2D Lee. It's a gaming channel, I'm guessing, with that profile picture.
It's a cool logo.
It is a cool logo. It's kind of cute. It's got the little fox there. We use fox iconography in our stuff. Looks like a fox.
It's some kind of animal.
And he says, American Kiryu fatty of the Boston gang. I don't know why.
Boston.
I don't know where the Boston comes from. Like, we got Dunkin' Donuts, which is a pretty Boston. That's a Boston thing, right? Dunkin' Donuts! Like they do. Like they love Dunkin' Donuts in Boston, I thought.
I don't know.
Is that a thing, or am I just being weird? I thought it was a thing that Boston people love Dunkin' Donuts.
I want to know where the Boston came from, because we're very obviously Southern.
Yeah, but yeah, this was shot in my hometown, and there's nothing Boston about it, so that's interesting. But I am an American, and I am a fatty, so you got me.
You weren't. I don't even think you were that big.
No, I wasn't that big in that video. I had just got done with my 3rd degree test. Like, at my 3rd degree test, I was in like the best shape of my life. And because I trained my butt off up to that. And then right after my 3rd degree test, I lost my studio. I lost the roof. I lost the roof over my head, and from that point, I kind of got depressed and I started gaining weight back. And this was like on that trail back down. So yeah, thank you for your comment. Any engagement's good engagement. Keep it up. Saku says, "Holy shit." What do I do with this? What does this mean?
I don't know. Is it good? Is it bad? I don't know, but he felt something.
He had a strong emotional response.
Yeah.
So my work is art.
Yes.
You have to say.
We're done here.
I have made art. Thank you, Saku.
Thank you.
Zoro Loco says, very nice camera work in this. Got all the best angles, which I thought was very nice. Every video I've done, I've always tried to up the production value in one way or another. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it's not as good as I would like. Like the Sub-Zero one, I tried to include like lighting, like do some lighting tricks, and to implement fog into the video, which I had never done up to that point. Had done like practical effects or fog or anything. And I think the choreography could have been better, and I came up with it on the fly that day. And there's ones in the past where I spent a little bit more time on the choreography, and to me that was really the weakest part of the latest fight. Like, so, or that's not the latest. Monster Hunter's the latest, but anyways, the one with the fight scene. So I always try to up it, and if you like the camera work, I appreciate it.
I honestly, that day was a lot of work for me and him and our helper. I remember that being hellacious. Like, it was so hot, and we spent all day working on that video, because I remember being like, I have no idea what this is about, and I was a little frustrated, honestly, because it was just so hot and I was tired. But we spent so much time, and he knew exactly where to put the camera, what shots he wanted to get, how to make it look like the video game at certain points. And I did not understand what was happening until he put it together. And I was just so impressed with seeing what we were doing turned into the final product. So I think that honestly this one has been, you put the most work into it planned wise.
Maybe planning wise.
I mean, I can say that from an outside perspective. You did a really good job planning it. of course, some are going to do really well and some are going to be okay and some aren't going to do as well.
Mm-hmm.
But it's always going to be random. But I do think that the time you spent showed in this video, personally.
That's good. I'm glad. And it was really easy to plan this one because the Yakuza series is just so stylized that to match that, it doesn't. It's easier to have like your mind's eye. It's easier to know what you want because it's so stylized. That's easy to match that. Whereas other games like like Mortal Kombat 11 or something like that, where it's like you kind of have to add your own bit of creativity into it, and there's so much more to pull from that are stylized in different ways, and there's a lot more of yourself you have to inject into it. Whereas this one was a lot more of it's easy to pander because it's easy to set the cameras just right to match what's in the game. So
it was really fun.
Thank you. Oh, Da Wrench, a bunch of watermelons, says Taman Igi Sensei, which I did not know what that was for the longest time until I looked it up. Do you know what it is?
You told me.
It's the Onion Man from Parappa the Rapper.
Oh.
So I guess, is he saying I look like this guy, or is he saying, I don't know what he's trying to say. Like, he's an instructor. That guy's an instructor. Tama Igi Sensei. Boom. There you go. There's a comment.
Good job.
Perfect. Angelus Luke commented, is this an instructor? Yes, I am an instructor. I've been training in the World Tongs Do Association since I was 13 years old. I'm not ever going to claim that I'm like the biggest, the baddest, or whatever. Like, I'm not here to fight anybody. I don't really care. I will say that I've trained my butt off for going on decades. Well, I don't care about like being the baddest or whatever.
Yeah,
I care about being a good martial artist, and I care about bringing that same feeling of inspiration, that same like martial arts being the pillar for people's physiological and psychological like perceptions, like it was for me. Like I had a lot of trauma growing up, and I clung to martial arts as like the pillar to like help me be consistent in my ideas. Like martial arts was always there. Tuesdays and Thursdays, I was always in class. That was the one constant. Whether I was in somewhat like not living in my normal house, whether I was, in abusive situations, whether I was in, I never felt like I had a steady guardian or, anything like that. I always had martial arts. So
it was always a constant for you.
Yeah. If I could provide that for other people, then I've succeeded.
Also, there was a time when you did take a break for a few years. And he also doesn't have an instructor here for him. He has to travel long distances to have anyone help and instruct him. And he's still learning, You're never done as a student or a teacher. You have to keep learning or you will become stagnant and not really be a teacher anymore. So, of course, there's always room for improvement for someone, even if you are an instructor. But I think that criticism is great if you've got experience in what he's doing and you've got something that you could say or ask of him. But if you just want to criticize somebody and you have no legs to stand on, I kind of question that. Well, because I'm fine with people criticizing something if they have somewhere they're speaking from.
Yeah. So, to me, you can interchange the word instructor and black belt. Yeah. Because when people see black belt, they like demand perfection.
Oh God, yes.
And don't get me wrong, I think that there should be a bar for black belt. I've seen black belts myself that I'm like, like I wouldn't have passed them, if they were like that at a test that I was conducting. But out in public, it's to me it's the same as like, when Instagram models, like girls are having these young girls especially are having problems with Instagram right now because it's causing depression, body dysmorphia and depression in these girls because they see all these models with the perfect lighting and the perfect, and the Photoshop and the this and that, and it's like, oh, they lead these perfect lives, and people are like, well, my life sucks and I'm ugly, right?
Yeah.
And so they get really depressed. It's kind of like that. Imagine that, but I'm a model. Like for some reason you just had to take on this name, right? And everyone's like, you're not perfect. You're not, this or that. And it's like, well, that's not really realistic, right? Like,
Yeah.
to me, it's about how much you put in and what you get out of it.
Everyone has their strengths and their weaknesses as a martial artist or even a black belt or an instructor.
And I think this one in particular was actually taken on Instagram, which I've found is, a lot of people, they put their best on Instagram, whether that be their lifestyle, their travel, their leisure, their clothes, their whatever. They're always going to put their best foot forward on Instagram. And I try to put everything that I have. Not saying there are things that I delete. There are things that I look through and I go, well, I'm not going to put that up. Whether it be just quality control or something that I post too much of and I'm like, I've posted enough of this. I need to post something new, or whatever. But I try not to just be like, oh, it has to be perfect, I try to post what is real. That's what you get. And a lot of people are unsatisfied with that because they're like, oh, well, this guy's a black belt and it should be perfect, right? Not really. Black belt is it's the first step. It's the first step in a continued journey. Oh, okay. Here's the last one. This one's pretty ugly. So Alfie Branch commented 1525. I'm pretty sure that's when I start. Hello, it's Fuzzy Editor JB from the future. I actually went back and watched at 1525 on this comment that we're doing right now, and it's actually not me in the video, but it's someone's kid at the event. I say kid, but they were like, I don't know, between 14 and 16-ish looking. I'm not absolutely sure of the age, but in any case, mostly what I say still applies. To me, the most important thing is that they're going and they're trying something and they're doing something new. And also, this person that they're talking about isn't a black belt. They're at black belt camp because they're getting close to taking their test. They're a candidate, but they are not a black belt, so that's an error in their comment. Still, I don't like this whole like, oh, this is just so bad, like da-da-da. Like, do something constructive. Like, be like, oh, this isn't very good. He should have been grabbing. You should grab more, or you should you should strike more. You should create more openings. Just some sort of constructive criticism instead of just saying like, oh, this is bad. Oh, it's so bad. Like that doesn't really help anybody. But that's all. That's my only point. Back to the video. It says, this is dreadful, honestly. How he's got a black belt is strange to me. Sloppy, grasping at straws. And I'm gonna be honest, like I that one was a hard one for me to do. Like, that one was a hard one for me to put up just because I was so disappointed in my performance from that Red Man self-defense. But I did decide to put it up. For one, I thought it was a good study that self-defense in itself, like that style of training, was really, really good. And I wanted to give props to the people who were conducting it. Two, I wanted to promote it to people if they ever get a chance to train like that, do so. Mm-hmm. Because it's very realistic, it's very in your face. It's a lot better than like point sparring or something like that. Yeah. Like it's very rounded in reality. I messed up during mine. I started off bad. I thought I didn't realize it was starting when it did. It started and the dude just had my back immediately, and from there it was just garbage.
And
right?
You own that mistake.
Yeah, it sucks. And what sucks about it is that you only get one shot, right? Mm-hmm. Or, maybe more if there's not a lot of people doing that. But there's only so much time and there's so many people who want to go and get to go. But I also posted some of my earlier stuff that I did. I've done Red Man self-defense before, and I'm actually a little bit more proud of those. I had a little bit better cardio back then, and there were some things that I did that, I give myself props for. Anyways, it's a mixed bag. It's a one and done kind of thing. Imagine never baking a cake before, or never painting with oil, right? Imagine like you paint with acrylic your whole life, right? Mm-hmm. And then suddenly you're asked to paint with oil. And then it's like, and we're going to put this in a gallery. So it's like, I've never trained this way before. Then I train like it. I did it like once years ago, and I thought it was really cool. And I do it again, but it's been like years, and literally my experience up to this point has been like, less than 3 minutes total of doing this. And
it's gonna be a little rough.
And it's rough, and you post it online because it's like this is what I learned from this. This is how it goes. So I don't know. I don't like comments like this because it's meant to demoralize you. I was playing Halo the other night, and I was playing Halo. I think it was last night, and I was with some friends on there, and we were playing a big team battle, which if you don't know, it's like a huge battle. It's got like 12 people on each side, 24 people total. Also, if you don't know, Halo in its current state, you don't get any more points, you don't get any more experience or anything for winning. So it's literally just, you're just there to have a good time, right? There was a guy, we lost by like 1 point. This guy just suddenly goes off, starts calling everyone slurs, starts just getting super mad, super upset.
Was not a kid.
And was telling everyone to stop, like, get off, stop playing this game. I don't want to see you on here anymore, da-da-da. And it's like, to me, it's like, this is what that is, right? It's just like, stop what you're doing. You're not good. Stop. It's like, that's such destructive. If it's so destructive, if we did that with everything,
it's fine.
No one would do anything ever.
It's fine to be like, why didn't you do this or why didn't you do that? Because from an outside perspective, of course, when you're watching anything on a YouTube video, you're going to be like, well, this is what I would have done. Or even when watching these people do this live, when I was recording this, the parents who have never done anything physical in their lives were like, well, I would have done this. People do that. That's just what you naturally do as a human being. You put yourself in that situation and you think you could do better, even if you've never done martial arts in your entire life. So even if that person did perfectly, which no one did, you're going to do the same thing because everyone does it. I did the same thing. I think in some clips of the video, you could hear me going, oh, do this, do this. Like I'm telling you what you should do or telling one of the kids what to do, but it's a situation that is as IRL as you can get in a safe area. So you're going to be freaking out when the dude's in your face yelling something at you and making you uncomfortable, and maybe these little kids aren't super comfortable because there were kids doing it too.
Yeah.
He's trying to put you in a stressful situation, and in real life, it's going to be more stressful than that, and you're going to not react properly sometimes. So every time it's going to be a mixed bag of your reaction and how you handle it. Because there were times where he handled it poorly, and there were times where he handled it very well, and that was that way with everybody if they got more than one round.
Yeah. And it's also, I think there's a difference in being like, if I was watching someone knowing what you should do, right?
Yeah.
Like knowing is like, oh, his back of his head's open, he should be throwing elbows or something, and like shouting that out, like, you should do this, da da da, like trying to help, and being like, oh, if I was them, I would do this.
Yeah.
Because that, to me, that's two totally different things. Because it's like, you don't know what you would do. You have no idea what you would do unless you did it. Like, so.
Not until you're in it.
Yeah, and I feel like there's an implication in this comment that's like, I would do better, right? And that may just be me projecting, but I feel like there's if you're calling someone else bad, then there's an implication that you would be good. And this person may be great. This person may be a MMA fighter who fights in the cage every day and
also,
is awesome.
The implication of black belt equals perfection.
Yeah,
is in this comment, and that's such a. I understand that there is a threshold, like we've said, about black belts. There should be, but also that does not mean perfection.
Yeah, so I wish that the world was more encouraging and less destructive. If there's someone who you think could be doing better, just be like, hey man, I like your stuff. Or you don't even have to say that. Just be like, hey, that kick could be higher. You know, here's a guide to some stretches that can help you get that kick higher or whatever.
Yeah.
Or harder, or, you know, just whatever. But if someone's trying to do something, instead of being like, oh, you shouldn't do it because you're not good enough, you should give them, if you think that you know better, then tell them how they could be better. They may or may not listen to you, because you shouldn't take everything you hear online to heart. Take everything with a grain of salt.
But if you genuinely care, you know, we're going to try to help each other improve, not just...
It's a lot better than being like, just quit. Just quit what you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's so weird. It's so destructive. Anyways, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. And this has been JB and Chelsea for Best Academy of Martial Arts. This is also Hermie. This is our kitty cat. Hey, Herm.
He's been helping us.
Long boy.
We hope you had a good Christmas.
Yeah, lots of things in the works for 2022. This is the last video of 2021. I guess I'll go ahead and say it for people who have waited this long in the video. Thank you so much for making it this far. Going to be a documentary that I'm working on in 2022. It's going to be a lot of work. I'm going to have to drive around to a lot of places and interview a lot of people. But it's going to be based on Region 6 of the World Tang Soo Do Association, getting a lot of people's perspectives on different aspects of martial arts, on their teaching styles and things like that. So if that sounds like it would be interesting to you, be sure to subscribe, like, and follow this channel and see what we got in the future. Of course, we're going to have more fight likes. We're going to have more like weapon tutorials. We're going to have more gameplay POVs. What are those called? VODs? VODs? Yeah, we're going to have those. If you like our gameplay and it doesn't show up on the videos page, that's because it's unlisted. You have to go to the specific playlist to see those, because I don't want just like gameplay clogging up my videos channel, because this isn't a gameplay. This isn't a gameplay channel. This is just something we do for fun. And if you want to see us, our VODs, or if you want to catch us live, be sure to subscribe and hit that bell. But if you want to see the VODs afterwards, you can always catch up with them in the playlist at our channel. Thank you so much. See you next time.
Thanks for watching.